Hello, my name is Nicole Triplehorn, and this is my Chapter 4 Nurture Shock presentation, where I will be discussing why kids lie. If you are like most parents, you probably think that you can tell when your child is lying. But according to Dr. Victoria Talawar, one of the world's leading experts on children's lying behavior, parents really can't tell when their child is lying, and this has been proven in many of her experiments. By their 4th birthday, almost all kids will start experimenting with lying, and those with older siblings have been shown to learn it even earlier than that. In studies where children were observed in their homes, it was found that 4-year-olds lie once every 2 hours, and at the age of 6, children begin to lie about once every hour. And few kids are an exception to this. For in these same studies, 96% of the kids engaged in lying behavior. When children first begin to lie, they do it in order to avoid punishment, and therefore tend to lie whenever punishment is a possibility. But children have to pick up these lying habits from somewhere, right? Well, believe it or not, your child has most likely learned to lie by observing you. When adults were asked to keep diaries of their own lies, they admitted to 1 lie per every 5 social interactions, which comes to an average of about 1 lie per day. Although these white lies are told for the purpose of making others feel good, they encourage our children to do the same, which in return makes them more comfortable with the idea of lying. Did you know that your child views any false statement, regardless of intent or belief, as a lie? This is why your child gets so upset when plans or promises fall through the cracks. Parents often fail to address early childhood lying, and less than 1% of parents who were observed in studies actually punished their children for lying, whereas other parents were only punishing their child for the transgression. This encourages your child to lie because in his eyes, lying didn't cost him anything extra. When 5-year-olds were asked if lying is wrong, 92% of them said yes. And when asked why telling a lie was wrong, most of them replied saying that the problem with lying is that it gets you punished. Young kids only process the risk of lying by considering their own self-protection, and it takes years for kids to understand lying on a more sophisticated moral level. It has been found that increasing the threat of punishment for lying only makes children hyper-aware of the potential costs. Therefore, the child becomes distracted from learning how lies impact others, and instead become better liars at an earlier age, learning how to get caught less often. But just removing the threat of punishment from lying is not enough to extract honesty from kids. Do you remember the story of the little boy who cried wolf? This story has been told to many children in hopes of scaring them out of lying. But chances are that telling this story to your child actually increased his or her lying. Children are already well aware of the fact that lying gets them into trouble. So what story should you be telling your kids? Talawar suggests you read the story of George Washington and the Cherry Tree, a story of young George Washington confessing to his father that he cut down the prized tree with his new hatchet. The story ends with his father's reply, "George, I'm glad you cut down that cherry tree after all. Hearing you telling me the truth is better than if I had 1,000 cherry trees." Telling the George Washington story has been shown to reduce lying in 75% of boys and 50% of girls. This information is applicable to social work practitioners because it provides them with the tools needed in order to encourage kids to tell the truth. This information would also be useful when working with parents who are struggling with their child's lying behavior.
Created using Powtoon.